NASA's Artemis program is kicking off soon, marking our long overdue return to the moon. But will this program reignite interest in sending humans, not robots, to the far reaches of our solar system? I'm Eric Malachite, and that's exactly what we'll be discussing today. Artemis I is an automated spacecraft meant to test NASA's Space Launch System, or SLS, that was supposed to launch this past Monday, but didn't when one of its 4 RS-25 engines failed to reach temperature benchmarks. These are the 4 rockets that are located on the bottom of the main stage rocket. On Saturday, August 27th, a 2-day countdown was put in place until the issue was detected. Now, as of writing the script for this video, NASA has not updated us on what exactly that means for the mission going forward, but based off of reports from industry experts, by the time this video comes out, Artemis I should be gearing up for a September 2nd launch window. Artemis I will be a big test of the systems NASA will rely on throughout the increasingly more complex missions that will comprise the Artemis program. It aims to not only put human beings back on the moon, including the first woman and person of color, but also to establish something that we've only ever dreamed about doing on the moon in science fiction. That's right, a freaking moon base, baby! The Artemis mission's lunar outpost will be where astronauts will live for extended periods of time. They will also use this base to test exploration techniques that can then be implemented when we at long last get our fleshy butts to Mars, just like Hauser wanted. In addition to the lunar base, NASA is also developing a space station called Gateway. The goal for Gateway will be to support long-term operations and exploration of the moon and deep space. And as such, it will include docking ports for a variety of spacecraft and space for crews to live and work. Like the International Space Station, Gateway will also conduct scientific investigations and experiments in a variety of areas, including human health, life sciences, and heliophysics. The Artemis program is an incredibly ambitious mission that has faced significant legal and logistical opposition. In fact, I was pretty surprised to find out that Artemis I was even launching so soon, when typically since the time I was in freaking diapers, we've heard rumors of NASA wanting to go back to the moon, and usually nothing comes of it. But perception really isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Because as it turns out, the Artemis program was supposed to originally kick off last year, but got delayed because the vehicles, the SLS itself, and its crew module have all faced numerous setbacks in the design and early testing phases. And make no mistake, Artemis is going to be expensive. NASA's Inspector General even projects that it might cost around $93 billion over the course of 12 years. The launch of Artemis I alone will cost around $4.1 billion. That's a lot of money, so there's a lot at stake here, and you're more than likely going to get plenty of politicians and random jackholes on the internet complaining about that expenditure, even though the original space race that got us to the moon is literally the reason why random jackholes can jump on the internet and bitch about it to millions of people who live nowhere near them and would have otherwise never heard of said jackholes if the internet had never been invented. However, at this point in time, it's pretty clear that we cannot continue to subsist on the Earth when we can take that burden off of it by mining asteroids and comets for resources. And to that point, so long as Artemis I doesn't get indefinitely delayed due to technical issues, the long-standing record of return to the moon missions getting simultaneously announced and then promptly scrapped will sort of be broken. While admittedly Artemis I is slightly less exciting, at least from a pop science narrative standpoint because it is automated, what is traveling to the moon this time around isn't just a probe or orbiter, but the crew capsule, or one like it, that actual astronauts will basically live in on their way to stomping all over Neil Armstrong's footprint. Just kidding, they'll be landing in the South Pole because that's where all the helium-3, water ice. That's where all the water ice is. Also helium-3. That unmanned crew capsule, called Orion, will orbit the moon for 6 days. During those 6 days, NASA will be testing important things like life support before Orion makes its way back to Earth. 3 mannequins will be fitted with sensors to figure out how exactly astronauts might do while taking a ride in Orion. I swear, if someone does not play Metallica Orion on board that ship while it's leaving the Earth's atmosphere, I'm gonna be pissed. The final test will be to safely land and recover Orion once it takes a dive in the ocean. Artemis II will be Artemis I, but with people on board, no landing on the moon involved. And Artemis III will be the first mission to use a landing module designed by SpaceX. You see this thing in the background, which was probably circled green on the thumbnail that lured you into clicking on this video? That's probably what the lander is going to look like, if we can go off of NASA's artistic impressions. All in all, there's good reason to be excited about the Artemis program, and I for one will remain hopeful for a September 2nd launch, or at the very least in the very near future. After that fateful launch, however, we'll have to wait until 2024 for Artemis II to launch. But what do you think? Do you think that Artemis is just a huge waste of money, or are you hopeful that we'll finally see humans return to the moon by 2025? Let me know in the comments down below. If you dug this short science video, be sure to do all that algorithmic jazz and check out our longer deep dives into topics like LIGO. And hey, check out all those wonderful names. Thank you, patrons. I'm Eric Malachite, and I'll see you next time, Space Cowboy.